taking accountability for one's own thoughts and emotions as a secure person does not mean changing who you are. In fact, actually quite the contrary. What it means is knowing how to use a voice and a loving and respectful tone, as well as a ventral vagal no, with any and everyday people. So what you will notice, at least for now, when it comes to, for example, inner nurturing, when you get lovely tarot readers who don't do 5D readings, they have a lot of different ways to present to you even the Seven of Swords. And what, humanly speaking, instead you will note, if you're a person who cares about the actual spirituality awakening of a person, is that this is a lot deeper than the 3D ways, 4D ways of reading. So a hanged man is changing perspective. Now, if you don't know about your own attachment style and or category, you are missing a very important piece of information about you. If you don't know about what projection is, and so how charged states are your unresolved trauma. If you don't know that when you're speaking to anybody, your 2-year-old tone can be worked on. So, and if you also don't know that an inner child who has childhood trauma, as I said in the other video, doesn't want to be seen, because that makes a inner child with childhood trauma feel ashamed, because this is where, if there's childhood trauma, it means you will not have been given a safe and secure environment in your world, your intimacy. You have none with your emotional body yet, because your first 2 years of life you did not get the consistent contingent communication. So 4D does a disservice when they talk about people that are in your oversoul as if they are threatened by you, versus knowing that people who are insecure, they have low self-esteem. This is what it's called. They also have the inability to see that their hurt that hurts people is actually something that they could work on, because they have all the lovely movies that make it look normal to do drama. So let's talk about why. Again, drama, it's not good or bad. It's a choice. It's a choice of those who are aware that a human mind, integration of the brain, that is an equanimity, so that your spirituality awakening and any of the awakenings and all of the light bodies, I've had 3 or 4 light bodies, rainbow body, and then my energy body's expanded. I've described this. So a mystic who's 5D knows we're not anointed, we're not special, because we're people. And because really what it is there's not an inner child that longs to be seen, to be soothed, to feel safe, to be myself and secure in the world. So if somebody teases me, which has happened, I'm not gonna be like, oh my God, you just offended me. When people have debated with my dreams being Claire's, I've been like, you know what? That's your subjective opinion, and I appreciate it. Thank you so much for letting me in on what you think my dreams are. I'm gonna go now. No, I kept talking, and we kept having an exchange, because grown-ups don't take things personally. This is where spirituality process 5D, we bring harmony, because we're actually able to be secure attachment people. So taking accountability for my thoughts and emotions means I can speak to you. And the minute somebody weaponizes, quote unquote, because see, in order for a person to think you're weaponizing, there has to be an insecure heart, which a person who doesn't have the insecure attachment within their body. So again, my body is safe. I was lucky. I got to feel safe in my body to be the imperfect, flawed Maria. This is my name. So we don't have to be like, oh, my consciousness, it's separate from me as a person. No, it's a shared consciousness sphere. And in fact, if you learn about the scientific methodology that's looking into it, you're going to understand how it doesn't need to be associated to a mantle. I love having Sadhguru out there, but I've already began my spirituality with other concepts that I choose to disengage from presenting out of respect for 3D, 4D people who have belief systems. I'm an adult. I have concepts. I believe in physics. Ask me which one's the preferred. I'll go with physics. They know how the universe is potentially going to end. There you go. I'll go with neuroscientists. I'll go with biologists. I will go with data. Because see, they do data thanks to technology. They show you maps. I don't like stories. I don't need a story. Story makes me feel like you're babying me. I don't need babying. I don't need to believe in something in order to know that I own this life, the essence of life. You own it when you're officially your own piece of Purusha Prakriti. Purusha, it's unconditional love, pure consciousness. You can only achieve this if you're able to be in equanimity with your nervous system, which means in a ventral vagal state, which means putting it into practice, which though means becoming aware of heaven in your body, not hell. But some people need to get out of hell from their body, and that's the difference. So I don't know hell in my body. That's what I'm trying to say. I don't know what it's like to need to shine or to feel ashamed to shine. I don't have a shame cycle. I have a love button. 5D has love buttons. Some people have gotten here, and they will talk about their entire demolishing of their self, which is unfortunate because your brain developed to protect you in your household. Your household didn't choose to have unresolved trauma, and our entire species didn't choose. So the stories about devils and demons and evils, it's great for people who want to stick to their ethical, culty, traditional cults. But for people who want to say, I'm a smart person, if you're smart, then that means you learn about subject matters. Because otherwise, I don't know why you're using the word smart. Because if you're just regurgitating a set of pieces of information, I'm not going to consider that smart. I'm going to consider that a regurgitation. I can learn, if I want, by heart poems. You know how when you're a kid, they make you learn how to do poems? Yeah, I can learn a whatever it's called, the part of mathematical equation. It doesn't make me smart. Smart means you open your mind to information. To open your mind, you need to have open ears. To have open ears, you need to be in a body that's confident. That means I'm not trying to prove. When we get upset in an anger state, the only time this happened, I was a teenager, and I remember I need to not do this because my brain's getting cloudy. When you get angry, cortisol begins to cover up that hippocampus, which is the seat of memory. And I remember getting all jumbled up. I won't be able to negotiate. I'm doing political science. I'm going to need to negotiate. Then I decided, I don't want to do that. I don't like to see people throwing chairs at each other and calling themselves leaders. I think that they should be better at learning how to behave. And now I know most people don't bother with learning how to behave. They're too busy with stories about people deciding to threaten each other and whatnot. The silverback stories of conspiracies and all that other stuff. So yeah, smart people think they're smart by building little trails of breadcrumbs with Storyland. Some of us are like, you know what, the basics are pretty straightforward. There's a lot of very interesting information out there, including 5D mystics, lo and behold. So we have some 5D mystics out there who are not reading to you, be threatened by your family. We're saying, you know what, you want to look at your family actually. And you want to notice, do you have childhood trauma or not? Because it's a very serious business. And on that note, when we talk straight to people, the ones who gaslight, manipulate, weaponize words so they treat us nasty because they're in their biological rudeness, not because they're devils or demons or karmics or soul contracts that are ending or twin flames or soulmates or any of that. These are people. Stop dehumanizing them. Spirituality awakening folk in 4D land. And every time I hear them doing something like that, I'm like, why? But then I remember there's a lot of star babies out there. The 4D collective, they are going to have their herd. They're going to find solace. We're anointed and we're going to change the world instead of it's a co-collective effort. We change it together. That's what it's called, to grow up and evolve. But hey, let me leave you alone. So we leave people alone, not because of some entity going to come and beat us up. No, it's because you don't affect another person's state of consciousness. It's their body, not mine. I can say love yourself. I can say I unconditionally love you just the way you are. I choose you for who you are, as you are. I'm a person. I'll work with you. You want to work with me? Let's take our emotions and thoughts and work together. You know what happens when you meet those who have trauma? It's not an energy vampire. This is very unnecessary. It's a very sad thing when you know that a person who's treating you in a certain way, they're hurt. And so what you do as a 5D person is you step back. And then, by the way, anyone who's moved into their enlightenment soul age group, they know exactly what I'm talking about. So human suffering, it's not a must, but it does exist. Good therapists, they exist too. That's why we talk about them and not go do some shamanic ritual. No, find good therapists like Patrick Tiahan and learn about childhood trauma. Find good therapists that talk to you about your attachment system. Find a good therapist that tells you why you don't know how to inner nurture your actual day-to-day and you do what the movies do. And we're not going to get rid of entertainment. We're going to do the grown-up thing. Moderation is key. So we get to share with people, hey, moderation. You want to live a long life, don't you? I know I want you to live a long life. So here, let me help. Support. relationships. 5D, no drama to non